Hi, my name is Rebecca Hernandez, and I am going to be talking to two coworkers today in regards to Telpas Academy teacher training. Um, Mr. Tijerina, I know you were absent, and Mrs. Trevino the other day. Here's your folder, actually, by the way, for the Telpas training. I gave you yours, right, Mr. Trevino? Okay. So, just really quickly, I know it's a super long PowerPoint that you guys can keep for your reference, but some of the main points that we went over was that we had our assistant principal, Mrs. Olivares, and Mrs. I can't think of her name right now. Okay, well, Mr. Cantu and another teacher went to this training for Telpas, and they came up with some great ideas. They still have 2 other days that they need to attend, but part 1, apparently they really liked everything that they had to offer and some of the programs that some other schools are using, and so we were wanting to implement some of those programs here. So if you look on page 2, some of the things that we looked at here was at the region, the data that's there, and we were looking at the difference between the percentages on how the kids are scoring in the advanced high in the speaking and the writing. And if you notice, there's a big discrepancy between the writing and the speaking. And so we kind of had a discussion about why, and what they said is that the students, there's a discrepancy because the students practice their writing a lot more than they do their speaking. You know, when they're in a class with us and we ask them to do responses, they have time to think about it, and so they are able to process the information, they're able to research the information, right? And versus when they speak, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I know we have a couple of our students that they don't speak in my class, or they try to avoid speaking as much as possible. So that's some of the discrepancies that we talked about, and we talked about how we can help them better prepare for the TELPAS test so we can get them to move up a level. Some of the things that we talked about, how can we help them? We talked about having them speak, of course, more in class, right? And practice not pausing. So I learned, I didn't know this, but apparently they lose, when they take their TELPAS test, if they pause, even for like 3 seconds, they lose points. So when they're given different prompts and they have to speak, they cannot pause. We also, something that they're looking for is that we need to teach them to use idioms. I know they've been saying that around you, but I don't know if you understood. So as they also says, they give them these pictures, and the students are expected, which is kind of difficult. We did a lot of practice that day, and it was kind of difficult because they give them a set of pictures and they tell them that they have 45 seconds to respond, and they want them to not only talk fluently, but they want them to use idioms. So they did ask us to start using idioms, you know, in our classroom, if we could implement them as often as possible and show them different videos. That was slide 2. I'm just kind of highlighting questions you can ask yourself or on the next slide.